As a reminder, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. When speaking during the meeting, please come to the podium, state your name and address, speak loudly and clearly. Thank you. Item number 1, approval of the agenda. Before we approve the agenda, we need to modify the agenda. We need to remove item number 5. I move to remove item number 5.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. Okay, then back to approval of the agenda.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. Item number 2 on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from July 30th, 2024.
I'll move it.
I'll second it. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Very good, thank you. Item number 3, approval of claims, and I'll turn it over to Shane Albrecht on that, please.
We don't actually have any claims on this.
All right, so we
Oh,
will,
financial report.
What? We do have. a
that's
financial-
next, yeah, that's
financial
next.
report.
So item number 4, financial report, and it does indicate Dennis Butler, but Dennis is not here today, so I'll call on Shane Albrecht, please.
Thank you. Ron, I'd like to ask for this to be put into the record, please.
Okay, I move that we put the financial report into the record.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. And again, we'll call on Shane Albrecht.
Give me just a second, sir. For everybody, gotta get this in, Dick, 'cause I don't think everybody can see this. All right. So the financial report should be on the screen for everybody as well. We had taxable bonds, so this recap, Dennis has been, gone for just a little while. Unfortunately, we all wish Dennis the best as he's recovering. I've talked to him every day this week. And Dennis is working on stuff. So, we worked together to come up with this financial report, so thanks goes out to Dennis and everything else for working on this. So we started with 4,308,728.45, and we had an expenditure of 53,857.16 for an ending fund balance in our taxable bonds fund for 4750 of 4,254,871.29. Our next fund is Fund 5. We started with 253.32. We spent that this month, so we have an ending balance of 0. Our next fund, which is also Fund 5, we also have a ending balance of 0. Our miscellaneous revenues started with $495,150.65. We've received $13,023.06 of interest. We had monthly expenditures of $65,264.77 for an ending balance of $442,908.94. That $65,264.77 is made up of a bill from Baker Group for $34,000, a bill from Frederickson and Byron for $10,188, another bill from Frederickson for $20,082.18. Goldberg Group has some reimbursables for $544.59, and there was a refund check to the journal for $450. That's all been past months approved, but it's never shown on this financial report, so that's why there's no bills this month, but those were expenditures that we've done since July 1 till now.
Sure.
I wanted to get it all encompassed for that. Okay? And our Justice Center Maintenance Fund has a balance of $1,205,912.64. Okay? Is there any questions on the financial report?
Thank you, Shane. Okay. Item number 6 on the agenda is discussion and action on the LEC time capsule. And if we could go through that, I'd like to see if maybe we can arrive at a decision today and get that ordered if possible. Do you have your copies or do you need a copy?
Need a copy, please.
Okay.
and you asked us to bring our copies back.
You brought cookies.
I brought cookies.
Yeah.
So that's an easy gift.
And Shane, would you like to have a copy to look at, please? And that has been introduced into the process in the past, so we don't need to do that again. All right, so we're looking at a number of different options there. The one on top is for $455, the main one at the center up there. And it is 2 cubic feet, so it's got an adequate amount of space in it. And it also listed off to the right at the bottom of the image there shows that it will withstand 1 hour of fire at 1700 degrees and has water capabilities also. And we can just move through. I don't know if there's any that you would like to talk about. In the past, I think one of the times we did talk about the second one there that's listed at $210.49. That is 1.23 cubic feet and has the same fire and water qualities on it also. And the third one is a little less money, it's $177. We get down on size a little bit on that one, but it does have the same fire and water qualities on it also.
Is there discussion on that, or somebody thinking which one?
Yeah, I was just giving a chance to look at it for a little bit. Do either of you have questions, or do you have an opinion on it, or a suggestion?
I like the first one, Ron, that you guys did.
It's probably got enough adequate size.
2 cubic, 455.
Gives us some room to put some extra things in if we'd like to, yeah. That's the one I've been looking at, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I think it's got the quality lock system on it, that if it's not unlocked for decades, they're not gonna have a problem getting into it when they want to.
I'd move approval of that 2 cubic foot Century Safe.
Second?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Very good, thank you. I will get that ordered, be ordered from Lowe's, and we'll keep you posted at our meetings to let you know where we're at on it arriving.
Can I see that?
You sure can. In fact, here's one that you can just
Thank you.
have right there. All right. Item number 7 on the agenda today is discussion and action on LEC open house. And we can begin that discussion. I know Shane, you and I have talked a number of times about potential dates and how long we should wait before we have and that sort of thing. Would you like to cover that with the other 2 authority members so we can kind of be brought up to date?
Mr. Chairman, could I ask for this item to be moved to after our update on the LEC, please?
Okay.
You guys can do it with a motion.
I make a motion that we move it to after the update on the LEC.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Okay, item number 8 on the agenda is the update on the LEC project, and I'd call on Shane Albrecht from Baker Group to bring us up to date, please.
And Kevin, would you come up here as well? And Coleman, would you also come up, please? Please both introduce yourself.
Kevin Ross, Golden Group Architects. Colton Petcock, Golden Group Architects.
So we've kind of been out on the site, we got on the site on Monday. We've been basically targeting, as everybody knows, we were trying to have substantial completion. We were hoping for today, okay, for substantial completion. So we've been doing some backwalks and double checking and different things on the site. So Kevin, if you go a little bit about that.
Yeah, so yesterday we went and walked the parking lot, and the fire lanes and everything around the exterior of the building. Still a few punch list items to get completed. Some of the things we thought needed completed to hit substantial completion was redoing some of the caulking and striping out there. They had pretty good sized crew out there, at least I want to say 10 or 12 guys between the painters and the caulkers out there getting that done today. So they were pushing hard to wrap that up so the parking lot will be complete. And we have just a few other items we that's in review right now. I think we're sitting in pretty good shape with that, with a few minor corrections there. And then I think we're just waiting on the seismic bracing for the fire protection, that inspection report to be received from Prairie Fire and Housing Construction. So I think we're getting really close to the end of this thing. So just tying up loose ends. Credit to Caleb and Todd Eady. Without them, they've been busting their butts out there getting this thing done for you guys. So.
The Nelson elevator did pass inspection last Friday for everybody to know, which is elevator 6. So we basically had, we sent a list almost a month ago now of 15 items that were outstanding that needed to be corrected. And we put some tags on each of these items. We put it down to 5 that were critical for substantial completion to happen. Those 5 items, in no particular order, was the Nelson elevator, had to be inspected and passed. We would not do substantial completion without that. Item number 2 was the seismic bracing report, unless we received it. We're being told that they just need to make some minor corrections, and Prairie Fire has been working with the seismic bracing inspector, which is a third-party inspector that's hired by the manufacturer of the seismic bracing clips. So it's not a Houseman inspector, it's not even a Prairie Fire inspector. It is the vendor that sold them the Acorn hangers, or whoever that vendor is. They send a third-party person out to do the inspection. And as I said last time, a person's out of Atlanta, Georgia. He was out here for 3 days and then went back to do calculations on his report. So to get just a little deeper into that, you have longitudinal bracing, latitudinal bracing. You have change of direction, and you have end of run bracing. So 4 different types of bracing. They have distances and locations, but they also have angles. So one of the challenges when you put bracing in is if they say it has to be 45-degree angle, and there's something in the way so you can't get a 45-degree angle, so you only get a 23-degree angle. Then they have to do a calculation on all those, either longitudinal or latitudinal braces, because the change of direction is very specific on what it has to look like, and the end of line braces are very specific as well. But there's an ability that it's a summation of all of them, so the guy has to go back and do calculations. We were told he's been in contact with Prairie Fire, and there was 10 deficiencies. Tyler, which is the foreman from Prairie Fire, has been up this week 3 different days correcting some of those deficiencies. So Houseman feels they're done getting the deficiencies corrected, but we won't believe that until we see that report. Okay? We want to make sure, because it's that seismic bracing is part of the life safety piece of this building. Okay? Don't want you in if there's major corrections that have to be done. We can't occupy the building for
Yeah,
a particular purpose.
if they got to tear apart a seal or something like that, it's going to cause a mess, obviously, impede public or sheriff's staff or whoever. So we'll make sure that stuff is correct and proper before we get the green light for substantial completion.
So we talked about the 5 things. Okay, so Nelson elevator, seismic bracing report, test and balance report. There's some deficiencies within the test and balance report, but we feel they can be corrected in the 60 days. So when we hit substantial completion, there's a 60-day window that the contractor has to correct all outstanding items, and then that hits what's called final completion. That means they're done. Okay? Substantial means you can occupy the building for its intended purpose, so the sheriff's office could get people out there and we could get stuff moving if they chose, because everything's always their choice. The next one was AHU 3. AHU 3 is the air handler on the roof. We need to do some sound. We need to put some sound blankets inside the thing, and we need to replace the coil in there. The sound blankets are PR50. The coil is PR52. Both of those things, we've talked to Suter, can be done without bringing people inside the building. There is a stair tower that we can get access to the roof, and they're going to get a crane to swing the stuff up. The largest piece that they have to swing up there weighs 180 pounds. So it's not a huge deal. Those coils, they're a 3-section coil, they weigh, each of the coil sections weigh 180 pounds. Those coils had a 2 to 3 week lead time upon approved shop drawings. And Kevin, where are we at with that?
I think the proof shop drawings were returned either in the last week or first part of this week, so those should be ordered if not soon.
So that easily will have the coils here first part of September. The sound masking stuff will probably, I had an 8-week lead time because it's custom built per order. We're probably 6 weeks into that piece to have that stuff here. And again, all that stuff could be installed from the roof. The point number 5 would be the parking lot. This was actually a Hausman request because the parking lot was in my 15 items that I sent them. But they said you can't have substantial completion because there'd be too many people out there in the parking lot. And it would be disruptive to us to show up, for that to still be on a punch list item because we couldn't get to the punch list items to do it. So we agreed with that and moved that from the near critical items to one of the critical items. But we were able to walk through there's a few corrective items and they're trying to get those wrapped up yet today or tomorrow on the parking lot to be done.
Yeah, when we were out there, right at lunchtime, said they had quite a few guys out there working, and had a good portion of that already complete. I think there's at least 4 or 5 painters, and there's another 4 or 5 caulkers out there, so we were getting after getting that done. Of course, obviously, with weather coming in, so they're gonna have to get it done, not be delaying that, so making progress.
So, is there anything I missed from the update?
No, I think that pretty much covers the bases on where we're at right now, so just trying to tie up all these loose ends and get this thing buttoned up.
And did you say, Hausman's told us that we should get the seismic bracing report, like today, tomorrow, really soon, so.
I was supposed to see it by noon today is what they said. They were gonna give me at least a temporary report.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet, but we anticipate that soon, so, we will have a substantial completion certificate ready, so we can get that report, and if it looks okay, we'll pull the trigger on getting that turned loose, so, they can start the 60-day clock, and we can also look at partial release of retainage for some of the subcontractors and so forth.
So, like we noted in here, we'll give another press release later this week because we do believe by later this week we'll be there. We'll get the report, and if Goldberg issues the certificate, we'll do another press release later this week, so.
Well, if I heard you right, Shane, there's one item that's like 2 weeks out maybe, because it's 4 weeks into a 6-week.
So,
But that doesn't affect, yeah, they can do that work on the roof.
yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So-
affect
Sound
substantial
attenuation.
completion.
Basically.
No, I think he was talking about the coil. Because the
Yeah.
coil was about a 4-week lead time or a couple weeks into that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep, so that coil should be ordered and it'll come in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
and that coil is just for heating.
Yeah, anybody
So
soon?
So we don't need
We don't need to write this up.
Yeah.
the substantial completion.
No,
For-
because
Yeah.
we need it for final completion because we can swing it up to the roof and not affect, the sheriff's staff, getting people in and getting people trained. Because we can bring the workers in from outside. And we can swing it without bringing the mess into the building.
So really, we're needing the seismic bracing report.
Yes,
That's really all,
That's what we've got to do.
for substantial completion, and then those few other things for.
Yeah, I
final
feel these
completion.
other things are punch list items that get taken care of within that window, not major items holding anything up, so.
Okay, well, that's good.
yeah, good news,
News we've been waiting for.
So,
yes. And we'll provide another update at the end of the week, and it will hopefully be that we get the certificate from substantial completion from Kevin.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Let them all answer for you guys? Sure. Sorry, I'm gonna read Ron, but I figured I should give him this before I read.
Oh, damn.
That's what I said. Yes. We were waiting, we kept checking to see if we had
Shane,
done
you
that
wanna-
seismic bracing report, but not yet, but we should get it.
I'll move to receive.
Second?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
That's it.
Shane, you don't wanna refresh your email and make sure it didn't come through in the last 10 minutes?
We need a chance to look at it.
There'll still be an evaluation when we do it, so,
Is that a lengthy report?
yes.
It will be, yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
sizable.
there is, just
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, there's just over, well, there's over 292 locations and over 300 braces that have been installed, plus a bunch that had the strap hands. So I said, they had quite a few guys, I don't say 12 guys out there, 12 to 14 hours a day, just busting that, getting those things done. And so, yeah, the inspector was there, he was in town for 3 days, going through all this, verifying those, had to do some calculations, so we really should see them. And I just updated my emails.
but,
But the corrective measures that they found have already been done.
Some of those have been addressed, my
Okay.
understanding is.
yeah, we just don't know if it's all of them, and that's what we need to verify, okay? All right, so, August 13th, 2024, press release for immediate release. Work has continued to progress since our last press release 2 weeks ago. We are hopefully that the Goldberg Group will be issuing, we're hopeful that the Goldberg Group will be issuing certificate of substantial completion later today or tomorrow. As we understand, we're down to one main issue holding up substantial completion, which is the seismic bracing report. Certifying that the missing seismic bracing has now been fully and properly installed. Hausman has informed us that we should receive the seismic bracing report today or tomorrow. As of noon today, we do not have the report. But assuming we get it today or tomorrow, and nothing unexpected arises, the certificate of substantial completion will be issued yet this week. The authority will provide another press release later this week. As a reminder to the public, substantial completion is the stage in the project where the work of the facility such that the facility is substantially complete so that the owner can occupy it for its intended use. The subject to completion of any punch list items or other items noted in the substantial completion certificate of substantial completion, geez, I can't read. As a reminder, after substantial completion, Hausman then has a contractual 60-day window during which it will work to achieve final completion of the facility. Items to be completed to reach the final completion include, among other things, testing and balancing, and any necessary retesting of the mechanical system. Work under PR 50R to fix the noise levels in secondary control, which were beyond the appropriate levels. Work under PR 52 regarding the replacement of the heating coil for AHU3. Work related to certain loops within the heated sidewalks, roofing repairs, certain landscaping work, and various other smaller outstanding punch list items. The authority would like to take this opportunity to remind the public that the repeated delays in the substantial completion of this project have all been caused by factors other than the authority and the county, and instead have been caused by various and previously discussed instances of delays in defective services and work by Hausman, Goldberg Group Architects, and Introva that have occurred throughout the project. The authority is doing everything it can to get this project to final completion and is going to ensure the facility is fully and properly complete upon the opening of the facility. But ultimately, the authority has to rely on the professionals it hires to do the design and build the facility to complete the work. We reassure the public, the authority and the county are continuing to calculate and assess their total damages, which cannot be fully calculated until after the completion of the facility and after the county is able to fill the facility with inmates, but the authority and county will, through the legal process, hold the responsible parties liable for their incurred damages once calculated. Any other questions from you guys?
Thank you, Shane. All right, we now,
I have one for Sheriff, I think.
okay,
From what you've heard today, with the substantial completion versus finishing the smaller items while you're occupying, do you have any concerns about that you could address today?
None right now, no. I think we've worked through these issues as they've come up so that they knew what we could live with as far as having the facility secured.
Okay, at this point in time.
Yes, once that substantial completion takes place and the keys are handed over, we're gonna hit the ground running with Kenny's folks and work together to get in there as quickly as we can.
Okay, thank you.
So the process, just to reiterate what the sheriff just said, when they hit substantial completion, all the jail keys, the keys that unlock the jail doors, all the different doors that are in Houseman's possession right now, there will be a level of transmittal that'll kick them from them to the authority. It'll be very, very short-lived. I've already talked with the chief. As soon as those keys come to me, I'm gonna give those to the chief. And then he's gonna work on his different processes. So nobody will then get into the secure part of this building without going through the sheriff's office, because everything will then become locked down in that building and start being theirs. And we've talked to Houseman and working through the check-in process to get where Tony, to get into different areas, but there will no longer be somebody just walking around the building wherever they want to go. When we hit substantial completion, those keys will come to the authority. Point to me because I'll be that person that receives them, but they're going to the chief right after that. And they'll become their keys to manage the facility the way they need to, okay?
Excellent.
And then, just so you know, once that happens, then the facility will never be unmanned again. It will be staffed 24/7 by at least one person until such time that we get other people in there. But once the chief gets the keys, he's already got it in place through Captain Harlow, that there will be somebody staffed there 24/7 to maintain the security of the secured part of the building, well, the whole building, but the secured part in particular. So, when that changeover takes place, things are gonna really start happening very rapidly for us.
Okay, great.
But, you know, we've had a year and a half to get prepared for that, so.
You're ready.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Very good. Any other questions? All right. With that, we'll return to item number 7 on the agenda, discussion and action on the LEC open house. And I'll just throw it to the committee and we'll talk about things that we'd like to talk about for the open house, including trying to establish a date.
So the reason I wanted to table that till after the LEC update is it makes it a little bit easier without us talking about it twice. If we can figure out when that date could possibly be. That's the only reason I asked to move it. I figured you were gonna ask me questions.
Yeah, well, yes. So what do you think now for an open house date?
I would like to ask the chief and the sheriff to come up here, please. Some of the people on our list probably need to be notified. We're talking like a 30-day notice to them. If we really want to have the governor come or some of those people like that from previous things, and even for the marshals and anybody else, take their schedule that you guys also want to come, we probably need to give it a 30-day window. Kenny's got 3 to 4 weeks, and I know you guys got time, but I need to ask because when I turn the keys over to you, we need to figure out what this open house looks like. That's why I asked you both to come up here. Because I know, Sheriff, you've been thinking about where you're gonna let people come. Everybody's gonna wanna see this building and just looking at, you know, what does, I just pick a month from today. What does after Labor Day, most everybody's back in school, state fair is done. You know, kids are back in school, you've done your Labor Day thing, looking for something after Labor Day. That would be my recommendation is to look for something 30 days from now, because my problem is we need to get this open house done so that the sheriff doesn't have other things going on. That's my 2 cents.
Yep. How's Monday the 16th look?
That'd be like a noon time,
I'll leave that up to you, you all.
because the 16th, that's not a holiday of any kind, is it?
Nope.
September is all we got Labor Day right there.
September 16th. We have council at 4 o'clock on Monday, so
happen.
I think that's a good idea, because we wanna give everyone a tour that we can, and we need a time wide enough to make that happen.
Right.
Cause we're gonna have a limited number of people who will be able to give tours, that we're
Yeah.
gonna authorize to give tours. So I think having a pretty wide window there.
Seems to me it would make sense to have like a VIP, tour, open house, at X time.
Mhm.
And then when that's done, have an open to the public, tour the same day. Is that kind of what you're thinking, then, like a
Yeah,
time frame for the
I am,
public?
but then also, I know we run background checks now of everybody that comes into the facility, just to see if they're going to be allowed in the facility. Are we gonna want people to RSVP that from the public, so we can do a check, because we don't want the,
If they're going to go into a secured area, we would have to do that. If we don't allow an open to the public, visit into the secure area, what I was thinking we would do is we would invite our media folks to a tour of the secured area, that they can take some B-roll video, they have it for their stories, that can be shared on the LEC Authority's Facebook page.
Mhm.
If they were so inclined to share some of that video, and that would be a way to be transparent with the public, but yet not have to run background checks on 200 people that might wanna come through and see it. We want them to see it, we're proud of it, we want everybody to see it, but because it's going to be a secured facility in the next day or two, we would have to run backgrounds on anybody that we would take into a secured area. So,
Just the feasibility, yeah, the
the
feasibility.
front half of it, they can come and see, and, I mean, that's up to the courts on what they allow in there, but, you know, some type of video to walk people through and show them different things might be a better option, and less intrusive for all the different agencies, but,
And I think whatever on the front part that the public gets to see, we're gonna wanna have some sort of a route, so that the traffic is all flowing, you know,
Well,
the
they'll have
same way.
they'll have to, so again, we go to a secured building now, so they're gonna have to come through the front, go through
Yep.
a metal detector, because we're not gonna have anybody come into the building in a different door and be able to
Yep.
do anything, that would jeopardize the security of the building, so the only way in would be through the front door, and we'll have to, if,
come up with a route, and crisscrossing tours.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
doing all that.
So when we talk about VIPs, is that the mayors from these, on that?
yeah, that would be
That list?
that group of folks.
Right.
And, I mean, we can certainly, if necessary, we can do backgrounds on anybody there, if we would need to, we have the names of
Right.
any VIPs, but, I mean, the chief is right. If they're gonna go into a secured section of our jail across the street right now, it really doesn't matter who you are, if you're going in there, there's a background check gonna be run on you. So,
No issues. That's why I wanted you guys to come up,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
as we talk about this.
yeah,
But I think
it's
we're,
important.
for the VIPs, you're gonna have to have a set date, and I think, like you said, you gotta have an RSVP where you send out to these people if you wanna come, because you don't need to be running background checks on a bunch of people that aren't gonna come. So, I mean, you guys gotta have a head count, and then those people they're gonna have to say yes or no, and go from there.
And that's why I think we need to make this decision, because we're gonna have to mail, I mean, right now that list has 37 people on it.
37.
But if you look, all the mayors are not listed on
They're
there.
not
so-
listed
So
individually.
there's another,
Yeah. Neither are public defenders.
right,
And I would like, I think that if you did your tours for like VIPs during the day, and then had a public open house that started, say, late afternoon, evening, I think the public's gonna be more appreciative of that they're off work, they can come to do it, they're not taking time off of work to go see what their
I
tax
think with
dollars
the
go.
VIPs, you do one time.
right.
Yeah,
Mhm. I
Not
would agree.
staggered throughout the day, we can get 45 people through a tour, no problem.
Right, I mean, we can give a repeat ticket.
Yeah, but they should all arrive
Start at
at
the same
one
time.
local time, and I'm assuming you're gonna wanna have like a little press conference and everything, and
Yes.
you need the tour, and then we'll,
So the very first thing, the very first thing I felt would happen would be, you would come, let's just say the time as we arrive, VIP tour is gonna start at 10:30, with news media and everybody else, in that, sometime in that. Very first thing that is gonna need to happen is there's a plaque that needs to be set in that front entrance. So kind of like groundbreaking, I assume the sheriff, the chief, you guys are all helping screw this plaque to the wall, and it's part of the kickoff of this day, so it's a bronze.
That's gonna extend the time period, no, I don't want a professional, but, no, I'm just kidding.
It's not gonna extend the time period, cause we already took on the installing of this plaque, okay? So, anyway, there's a plaque that's gonna get installed, then I assume Sheriff, you're gonna wanna say something to the media. I assume, Mr. Chairman, you are, Bob Scott, the mayor, I assume is gonna wanna speak, and if the governor's, I mean, there's gonna be people that are gonna wanna talk. Correct. I mean, James Loomis is gonna wanna say something, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The board's gonna wanna say something. So I mean, that kickoff, let's say we start at 10:30, that whole interview, mounting of the sign, could take a half hour, 45 minutes by the time, you get done talking, right? So then, my question is, because we'll have the news media out here for that, and you also have the VIPs. So is the news meeting and the VIP tour at the same time? Just asking that question.
No, I think it'd be easier to do the news media separately so
Okay.
that they can
Go
Set up.
uninterrupted get different views.
Okay, so they would come out for that time for a dedication, because I'm assuming you'd wanna hear the speeches and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and then they would leave and come back at another set time. Does that make sense?
Or, yeah.
No,
Well,
we need to have the media go through that building the same day we have our opening.
No,
They're
what I
gonna
mean,
wanna run a story and they don't wanna do it in two pieces.
all I'm saying is, let's say we do this at 10:30, it goes from 10:30 to 11. We have the VIPs come at 11 and they go till 1. We need to ask the news media to come back at 1 for their tour. It's the same day, just not,
So that when they're shooting their B-roll, it doesn't have the back of people, they can focus
Right.
on the.
That's what I'm after also.
but it'd be at 1 o'clock that day, I just picked
Alright,
the time.
Maybe they come out earlier and
Let,
maybe they go
let-
before.
Let Jonathan weigh in on,
And
yeah.
Katie's got a,
I was gonna say probably for both of us,
Because
I think we can both agree, we'll probably have more than one person out there shooting stuff. So we will probably have one person shooting the plaquing and everything. Maybe while that's happening, someone can take the other person to out back with the tour real fast where there's no one around, and then, cause I'm sure we're gonna have more than one camera out there for an event like this.
do it before the news conference, take us through, and then we can actually cover the news conference and the VIP tour as part of the tour, but then
So right now, a tour, for all the ones that I've run, I know you guys have run one too, takes about an hour and a half, okay?
I would think the VIPs are gonna want it under an hour.
yeah.
So they're gonna get a real abbreviated fast tour.
Yeah, it'll be fast.
And the media's, they don't need to see every section, they're just gonna shoot it one section, show it, here's what the master control looks like, here's some of the, I'm assuming,
We'll probably shoot a couple different angles of
keeping
it.
in mind, they're telling a story in 45 seconds.
I understand, I was just talking about, because of the size of that building, even when I've tried to
Yeah.
do it
No,
quicker.
yes, if you're getting a full
Tour of the
tour,
building.
it's 2 or 3 hours to get through the whole thing.
it is
What's
hard
that
for us
mean?
to leave and come back. That's just, we would prefer not to have to.
So then we talk about Randy before, if that's okay with the sheriff.
The one thing we all can agree on though is that we should get all that done in one day.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm,
However we coordinate with the news organizations, we can coordinate that with them,
right,
and make sure that that gets done so that they can get it edited and get a story done by their 5 o'clock.
I guess to me, I think you start with the media, so that nobody's in their way, and then you roll into the VIP tours, and then I think at the conclusion of VIP tours, you do the plaque ceremony, also with the start of when the public can be there, so then you've got kind of everybody there, and then after that, the public's free to go in and see the front part of the building, and what do you think?
my problem with what you just said is the plaque ceremony, would be then after the VIP tour, they're not gonna stay around for after the VIP tour, so you're talking an hour, we just said an hour. So the plaque ceremony needs to be before the VIP tour and after the media tour, so that way we can be respectful of them and they're back to their place by 11.
Does it make any sense, news media, that you would be there earlier in the morning, like about 8 or 8:30, and get your tour,
We
and
would
then,
prefer that.
I would just say you tell us when we will be
Yeah, I
there.
mean, we'll show up when you tell
But I
us to,
mean,
but it'll be easier for us to get
all I'm
some
thinking
time.
about is if they were there and got their tour and shot their video, then they could shoot the event that we're doing, and they could go back and edit their stories and do that
And
sort of
then we
thing.
probably just ask, we like shoot like some of the people just walking to start the tour, that way, and then we can just show the tour with no one around them.
Yeah.
I mean, we can be out there by 8 or 8:30 and show, get them their
Like I
tour
said,
done.
we'll work with what you guys say, we got,
But, sure, I mean, the good news for you guys is by then, you won't have to worry about giving them the tour of the facility, it'll be under our control by then.
Okay. Jim?
Well, that's what they, that's what they all care about.
So-
Because they can go get video of the rest of it anytime,
Yeah,
anytime day or night, but
So-
obviously
so if we're
we
gonna-
get the secured part, you know, so we can take care of handling that part, because by then, I mean.
so should we set it for like 8:30 that morning? And then you'll have people ready to
Oh,
give
yeah,
them tours?
It's gonna be,
I was thinking more like 9 o'clock, because Sheriff said the tour would be an hour, hour and a half.
Okay.
And then we do 10:30, setting the plaque, okay?
Well,
It's 10:30 to
our
11.
official, opening will be at 10:30.
Yes.
Yeah, not
So-
just setting the plaque, but everything else we're
Yes.
gonna do.
and let's call it the official open house.
Yes,
Because the building will technically be.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna do that on Wednesday, the 18th?
yes.
One of them I'm in town, otherwise they'll think the sheriff did a background check or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, the 17th, I have a conflict that week. The 19th, a little bit, the 16th or the 18th, I'm wide open.
You like the 18th?
I'm in trial that week.
No.
Yeah, that one from, last month. And- No, never gonna happen. So that's my week of trial, but that's okay. I'll survive.
Well, we just do tours every half hour.
I'd rather be here than in trial, but.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah,
What's that?
public tour, we just say, on the other half hour, we're gonna do a tour from
Yeah.
noon until 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you come at 3:10, you're gonna wait till 3:30 to take it in.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's stuff we can put out.
Yeah, we'll get staff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I like what Tony just suggested.
I heard him, yeah.
Yeah,
So does everybody,
6 o'clock, every half hour.
you do like the 18th? Okay. They like the 18th, you like the 18th.
I'm good with it.
Who does it?
Jody, you're gonna be in trial
I'm in trial.
just that day?
Is that a Wednesday?
Yes.
I'd be free Friday,
Seriously.
but, yeah, I'm in trial through Thursday of that week.
Oh, so are we good with the 18th?
Don't plan our
I
home.
think everybody but one is good, and he's gonna have to just be good with not being good.
I mean, because at the end of the day, my concern is we need to get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah, we can't push it back any farther than that, because I don't wanna push us making.
Is the week ahead any
Yes.
better, like the 11th?
Is the 11th any better?
No, let's do it, let's leave it at the 18th.
11th of what?
September.
September 11th?
The negative of the 18th, Jody can't be here, but I guess we'll
The
probably,
11th.
I've seen the facility, if I
Okay,
can't be
okay,
here, I'll
alright.
survive.
Well, no, I just meant that week, I guess.
Negative connotation, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Did you see if Kenny has any input on this too? I'd like to.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Kenny's not
I'd
here.
like to get some input from Kenny. 'cause
Oh, there he is.
Just to see if you have any thoughts on that, because you've organized things and you've done things before. I'm good with whatever you feel. Okay. That answers that, thank you.
so we doing the 18th?
Katie, are you good with that?
Yeah, I would say,
Yeah,
give
just,
us a little.
like I said,
more.
just give us a press release or something to let us
Yeah.
know and we'll work around, we'll work
And
with
I would
sheriff.
say as far as timing for us to shoot the tour, you might wanna add just a little bit more time on that, because it does take a while for us to film shots.
That work for you, Caitlin?
So I'd say 8:30 would be a good time for us.
Of course,
She's shaking her head.
You like
Yes.
the 8:30? Okay. She likes the 8:30 start, because it gives her more time to shoot.
I'm good with it. Okay, the 18th at 8:30.
Here's the news media stuff for the open house.
At
The other stuff
10:30.
will start at 10:30.
Yep.
And from 12 to 6, every half hour, tours for the public.
Yep.
On the,
Got it. That was pretty simple. All right, we're on that subject, we wanna talk more about, anyone else that we want on the list that we wanna send invites to. And then what do we wanna do about the, people and running the background checks?
we get that list of whoever we send invites to. We give them an RSVP date. I would think you'd want it, at least a week to run backgrounds. You need more than that, Tony?
Yeah. For the VIPs, they're gonna be ready to walk in. I'm more concerned about what's already the public walking through there. You can have this meeting offline and talk about that.
Sure.
But for like people to show up, our staff is used to running a quick background check to tell us yea or nay if somebody come in, so all we need is a name, and we can run a quick check. What I don't want is somebody that's scheduled to come to jail, just got out of jail, and you try, that's what I don't want walking through the facility.
But I'm assuming our VIPs that we're sending for our.
That's okay, I'm not thinking they're gonna be, it's the.
And I just think we need to give them a week before they need to respond that they're coming, so we can make preparations, because if the governor's coming, or, Grass is coming, or Ernst is coming, or pick whoever. Sorry, I can't do our representatives as easy as those.
Karen will need a notice of gathering that day.
For sure.
Time's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, anything else that we wanna talk about today? Hearing none, very good, thank you. We'll move on to item number 9 on the agenda, public concerns.
Do you need to actually make a motion, because it's an action item, do you actually need to make a motion and take a vote?
I don't know, we didn't on the one before, so if we do, we need to do one for both, probably, okay? So we actually did do a motion on which time capsule we were
We did,
gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just did not do a motion on this.
okay, all right,
So I move the LEC Authority host a open house on Wednesday, September 18th, to give tours to media, the public, and VIPs.
Second.
all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, passes 3-0. Now we'll move on to item number 9, public concerns.
Mr. Chair, so I know today can be very frustrating because we were hoping that today would be the day, and we talked about that the last time. So it seems like one issue gets resolved, and this was brought up last time during citizen concerns, we found out about a whole nother one. So the last time on July 28th, we found out about air handler 3's heating coil, which I think the Sioux City Journal rightly tied to not being able to make 62 degrees during the winter. So I know it feels like Groundhog's Day, that movie where taxpayers woke up and were hoping that we would be here. We're not. And my question for you is that the Board of Supervisors received just today notification that there are 6 diffusers that are missing from the integral dampers. I didn't hear that mentioned today. Board of Supervisors also heard that the roof failed inspection with hundreds of holes. I didn't hear that mentioned today. So my question, and I'm appreciative that it seems like Lucy and the football, like we're gonna take one more run at it, and Charlie Brown's gonna hope that this is it, and yet, my question is the failed roof inspection, is that an outside entity that's doing that inspection? And are the missing integral dampers that seem like a substantial completion item not substantial completion? Is that final completion? And then I've got a follow-on question after that.
Were you here when we read the press release?
I
Okay.
was.
So like the roofing repairs, PR 50R, PR 52, all of those things are not preventing substantial completion. So those are on those list of things that'll
It's
get
listed there.
completed in that 60-day.
So the
So it's
integral
just-
neighbors are not a
Correct,
substantial completion, those are
Could we make that,
correct.
we're saying because we cannot destroy ceilings, they'll be part of that 60-day window of things to get in there?
So we didn't list out every single thing, we listed out, 7 or 8, and then we have a
Yes, I didn't
catch-all.
know it was subsumed
Yeah.
under there.
Yep, so all of those you mentioned will be completed after substantial
And the roof repairs
completion.
are called out point blank.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's really nothing new. I saw today as a good day, because it's just the seismic bracing report, which Hausman, we don't control that, so Hausman has told us that would be in today or tomorrow. And they've told us again, Shane talked to them today, so there's nothing new that's gonna prevent substantial completion. It's the opposite. All the, nothing new, and the thing we're waiting on should be here any minute. And
Okay.
Kevin is here,
So the
Goldberg's
hundreds
here.
of holes, are those minor then? This seems like a big thing, if it's not, I'm just reading from the report that was given to the board of supervisors that there's hundreds of holes in the roof.
There is hundreds of holes in the roof, but they're not like leaking into the roof.
Okay.
So right now, every one of those holes has been patched.
Okay.
The authority would not accept the roof with hundreds of holes in it, so we're making them do it as part of the warranty thing before we accept the roof. We're not taking a brand new roof with 100 holes in it, that's part of it.
We've also asked the manufacturer to come in and inspect that roof and sign off and approve that will be warranty for 20 years after that.
And this is something we've known for a couple months, we've been working with, so there's no water intrusion. It's just, we wanna get it right, we're gonna get it right, and that'll be something done in the next 60 days.
Okay.
And it's
Yep.
done from the roof, it's not done from inside the building, you will come on the roof.
Okay.
This is part of what we need to give you a quality building. You can't give you a building with hundreds of holes in it, that's not a quality building,
Got it.
okay?
Yeah.
We said we were going to hold everybody accountable to the standards that we're supposed to have. This doesn't stop substantial completion. This
Okay.
is part of a warranty of what you have to have for your roof.
So that's between substantial and final completion?
Yes.
Okay. And then my other question, if you could just remind the board of supervisors and the public, they have from substantial completion to final completion 60 days.
That's correct.
Okay, so right now, we're calling substantial completion, what's the new hoped for date?
If there's nothing unexpected that arises and we get the report, it'll be Goldberg issues it, the authority doesn't issue it, but we're hopeful Goldberg will issue it by the end of this week.
And, and the city issued a certificate of occupancy end of last week after elevator 6 was passed. We have a certificate of occupancy, we have a CO from the city
Okay.
saying the building can be occupied. Okay?
And would you anticipate, given all the issues that you've related in the press release, that Hausman could very well take up to 60 days to complete those?
Some of those absolutely will take close to that. If we go back to what I said during our talk, AHU 3 has got coils that need to be replaced, that's PR 52. Those are 2 to 3 weeks from now, they'll be here, okay? Just got approved submittal on Monday and Friday. I also said PR 50, it was 8 weeks to get that stuff, so if you run the clock from 2 weeks ago when those things were ordered, you still got 6 weeks left, okay? So that will be still within that window. But there will be work going on up until close to that window.
And final completion needs to be complete before there's inmates that generate revenue, is that correct? Or
That is not
Not
correct.
necessarily.
So we work with the sheriff's office, if you're okay with the sheriff, if you'd rather come up and say this.
It's a good question, just for clarification for the public. Substantial completion means that the building, it's my understanding if I misstated, from the layman and non-construction terminology, substantial completion would allow us to use the building for what it's designed to be used for. So if we were so inclined to get substantial completion tomorrow, in theory, we could move inmates in the next day. That's not going to happen because we've got things that building services needs to do for us, and as far as kitchen equipment and other items that we need to get done, that we want to have everything done and completed in the new building, so that when we move in, we're done and hit the ground running, and the building behind us, we just turn the lights off and wave goodbye to it. So that time frame is going to
no bearing on when we would move them. It's technically, we can move them as soon as substantial completion is reached.
So without getting into specifics, it could be as early, and the only reason I'm asking this is we're damaged $270,000 per month that we delay, or that is incurred from delays to us, so that predicates what our budget is, you know, so those are the reasons for those questions.
I have a question for you, Jeremy.
Okay.
You said your board received a report, was that real recent on the roof?
Today,
The report was today?
right.
And didn't talk about anything about the roof being repaired, or it just,
It said
who
that
was
there
that
were,
report from?
it was Jody's letter through Josh Whitman to us,
Okay.
and it mentioned the integral dampers, the roof, necessary roofing repairs, and so just because that hadn't been brought up today, it was a concern of mine.
I see.
Are those things that are outstanding, are those substantial completion items, final completion items?
But I wanna bring up, the roof repairs were brought up today, they were part of the update. The dampers were also in there, they're part of the update and the retesting and stuff. So, I wanna set the record straight, they actually were in there. And that's part of what we read and talked about.
And we talked about that 2 weeks ago, and before
Yes.
that, the roofing, the landscaping, the dampers work. This is all stuff that can be done after substantial completion, so it's not holding it up, there's nothing new. And, it's really just that report, and Goldberg's here this week, and so everything is looking good to get that certificate of substantial completion.
And when you
This
talk
week.
about the roofing, you mean like the membrane?
So when people were up there, anybody that's walked on a flat roof, if somebody accidentally leaves a screw, or we're not careful when we drop, a unit up there, because remember, there's fans installed, everything else, you got people working up there, those people had to walk on, put coping. There is an enormous amount of holes that were put in the roof from somebody not cleaning up and picking up screws and different
Like the
things.
membrane, you mean?
Into
And
the
they're
membrane.
small, they're not holes, they're not causing water
Yeah.
intrusion,
That's a
it's
good
the
clarification.
normal.
When you hear hundreds of holes, it sounds
You
gross.
think, okay, there's gonna be water, this comes.
It sounds worse than it actually.
But they're all
Correct.
patched, they're all
Correct.
sealed, they're not leaking through to our building.
Gotcha.
But we just do not take a roof that looks like a pincushion.
Yeah. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yep.
Thank you. There are no other public concerns, would open it up for, board member concerns.
Nothing further from me.
Not for me.
I would just ask that at our next meeting be as ready as you possibly can, so we can try to complete our list on things we want as of now to go into the time capsule. So be thinking about that if you would, please. All right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Ron, are you gonna be asking like the courts and the sheriff's office, like for things to put into that time capsule?
Yes, we are.
Also?
Yes, yeah. Already on the list.
One of the things we probably should talk about next time, so the sheriff's office approves this and stuff, is the location where the time capsule's gonna be.
And we have an idea where we would like to put it, and we can have communication about that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, with that, we move to item 11, which we're coming right up on the time, or actually,
We
we're
did.
right at it. We'll go into closed session.